Hi, I'm Vincent Irizarry. Don't go anywhere because Profiles is coming right up.
Welcome to Profiles. I'm Morgan Thompson. Today's guest is actor Vincent Irizarry, probably best known for his portrayal of Dr. David Hayward on the daytime drama series All My Children, which recently completed a 41-year run on ABC. Irizarry originated the role of Dr. Hayward in 1997. He would go on to earn an Emmy nomination for Outstanding Lead Actor in 2002, eventually winning in 2009. After a short break, we'll join our host, Mickey Burns, as he welcomes popular actor Vincent Irizarry to Profiles. Welcome back to Profiles. I'm Morgan Thompson. Actor Vincent Irizarry is a native of Queens, New York. In the late 90s, he became a familiar face to millions of fans for his role as Dr. Hayward on All My Children. However, some of his fans might be surprised to learn that Vincent is also an accomplished photographer, a classically trained pianist, and a legit tenor, having performed as a soloist with numerous renowned orchestras. So let's join our host, Mickey Burns, on location from the Iroquois Hotel in the heart of New York City as he welcomes the talented Vincent Irizarry to Profiles.
You had a chance, David, and you blew it because your hate for the Chandlers and the Martins was stronger than your love for your own daughter.
That's a lie! A lie!
You tortured JR. You made him think that Di Henry was his mother, and then when Dixie came back, you tortured her.
My top priority was always to protect my daughter.
You wanted revenge.
Vincent Irizarry, welcome to our show Profiles.
Thank you, Mickey.
It's good to see you.
Good to see you, too.
Of course, you are a New York guy originally.
That's right.
Born in Queens.
I was born in Flushing, Queens. I was born in Flushing Hospital, as a matter of fact, and there was an area called Palmanock. That was right there at Casino Boulevard and Jewel Avenue.
Yeah, and of course, you're now a transplanted West Coast guy.
That's right, living in Los Angeles and coming back and forth because I still have a lot of family here, so I come back pretty much every month.
Sure. You're probably best known for your role as Dr. David Hayward.
Yes, Dr. David Hayward.
On the hit soap All My Children, which you originated the role in 1997. My question is, what was it like playing a great soap villain like Dr. Hayward?
Well, he wasn't just a soap villain, he was a world-renowned cardiologist, I should say.
Yeah, he was, yes.
Yeah, so he didn't see himself as a villain necessarily. Yeah. The great thing about David Hayward is that the people of Pine Valley looked down at him as if he was the scum of the earth. But he felt that he wanted to hold up a mirror to the people of Pine Valley. He was on a mission to show their own hypocrisy, because each of them honestly did just as many bad things as he did, but they were accepted socially amongst themselves. And so that was his mission once he got to Pine Valley, that he was going to do that. So he did it for like 13 years, just holding a mirror up to everybody and like torturing them. But the one thing about David is that he also saved all their lives at least once. And I think that they'd be a little bit more grateful. They gave him nothing.
One might say also that maybe he wasn't such a villain. Maybe he was just misunderstood.
Yes, that's certainly the case. And he seemed to be accepted by some people like that. He had a few friends in Pine Valley, but very few.
Very few. Of course, now in 2002, you earned an Emmy nomination for Outstanding Lead Actor. That's pretty great stuff. Finally won in 2009.
That's right, 2009.
Where is your Emmy today?
It's at my place where I live in Los Angeles. It's it's one of those things that people say, well, you have it on your mantle, in your hearth, whatever. And I tried that once, and it looked just so ostentatious, and it looked like everybody that comes in sees the Emmy right away. It's in my bedroom. It's on the dresser. It's on top of the dresser. So that's where it is.
And when you look at it, what does it represent for you?
Well, I guess it represents achievement, and I've been in that medium for many years. I was in 4 different shows, in and out from there, working in nighttime, working in film, back daytime. I've been doing it for so many years, and another character that I did was Lou Jack on Guiding Light. I did that in the mid '80s, and that was such a significant turning point in my career. That character, and And if there's any character that rivals David Hayward, it would be my Lujack character. I was nominated for Lujack as well. So this was nice to finally win after 3 nominations and years of working in the medium. And
gratifying.
It's great.
After 10 years of numerous Emmy nominations, you were let go from AMC.
Right. 9 years, yeah.
Why do you think that was?
You know, it was interesting because for the first 7 years that I was on the show, I worked probably more than anybody. I had great storyline constantly, and I loved the character. He was so multifaceted and very complex. And, you know, he could be a villain, but at the same time, I was able to make him very sympathetic to the audience, which I found that as very, I don't know, I found that it was a wonderful thing to see that I'd be torturing people in Pine Valley and the fans would be on my side. And these were like upstanding citizens, you know, these pillars of the community. But for me at that time, it was strange. After 7 years, the writer felt like that at the time that was there, she felt like she didn't know what to write for me anymore. And it started that last year I was on before they let the character go. I was going into the producer's office every month going, what's going on? I feel like he's becoming like this one-dimensional villain all of a sudden, and that was never him. And finally it happened, so they let the character go. And a week and a half later, I got a call from Young and the Restless, which is great.
You're out of there.
And yeah, they gave me a role that was only supposed to be 3 months, turned into 2 years. And it was interesting because this is how, with the Emmy, was even more interesting. After 2 years of being on Young and the Restless, that character, they ended it, which was fine. I mean, it was like, it was supposed to be 3 months, then it was another 3 months, 6 months. It was like, they kept adding it, so it's like, I was fine. 2 days later, all my children calls me and says, we'd love for you to come back to do the character. Which was also, that's very gratifying when you get let go from a show. But it was really nice because Chuck Pratt, who was the head writer at the time, he came on, he wrote for me back in Santa Barbara days when I was on there. And he called me and he said, he left a message on my voicemail, says, I want you to come back, I really want to write for you again, I want to write for your character, let me help you win an Emmy. That's what he said on my voicemail.
And he did.
And it was like, I came back, he wrote me an amazing story, and it was like 8 months later, I'm standing there with an Emmy in hand on stage and accepting an award. It was because of what he left on my...
Well, they did bring you back. And I was just wondering, as an actor who had a key part in the soap, do you ever develop a false sense of security, like this is never going to end and this will go on as long as I want it to?
Yeah, I guess there is something like that, of course. When you're working as long as you are on a show, and I've had great success in this medium. You know, but the realities are that, as I said, the medium itself is struggling. You know, but it's not just this medium. I think even all nighttime television is struggling. Even in the things that I have done since working in daytime, the money isn't there as it used to be for them to be paying you as they used to pay years ago. And that's what everybody is feeling that.
I guess. Upon the cancellation, you said a couple of things. Let me go back and see if you remember saying these things. No, you said, first of all, you said the ratings, upon the cancellation, you said the ratings were up, the writing was excellent, and the audience was responding to the stories of the scripts. And then also you said in the end, more than anything else, what I take away from it is the memory of the relationships.
Right, without question.
And I would think it's like a family, right?
It is. Especially when you've been working on a show. Between the 2 tours that I was on that show, it was like 13 years, 12, 13 years. I remember those last weeks working with some of the actors, and Walt Willey was one of them. I was doing a scene with him, and we were across from each other at a table, and we finished the scene, and I just said to him, you know something? It's something that we take for granted from working on a day-to-day basis, but it's been a privilege, man. It's been a real privilege working with him and working with the people there. And the crew was fantastic. And I just love them. They're wonderful people.
Yeah. Now, in your personal life, tell us a little bit about your interest in photography, because I know that started when you were very young.
I got into photography. A dear friend of mine when I grew up, a guy named Michael Masiosi, who was a Long Islander, he taught me how to use a 35mm SLR camera. And I was like 12 years old, I think, and he had his own darkroom in his basement, so we went down there together, and I learned how to develop my own prints and the whole thing, and even develop film. And I just fell in love with it. It was great. And it was just something that, for me, was a hobby and an outlet. For him, it's a career. When I was doing Santa Barbara, especially, there was a period of time where I just was not satisfied creatively with the story, and I just felt kind of bored creatively. And so I went back to photography again. It was something that I did on the side. I was taking classes at UCLA. I fell in love with it again. So that's something that I just have as an aside for myself. even cinematography. I think if there was anything that, on a technical side that I would get into in film, it would probably have been more cinematography.
Yeah.
For that reason, I love visuals.